just found out yesterday when I went in for the prep that they're gonna do a fuse. Nope, they didn't say anything about that. They said nothing about that. And then they said, well, due to the amount of arthritis, again, they didn't say anything about that either. It's not surprising. This type of injury.
How's it going?
Okay, how are you?
Well, none. I talked to the PA.
Oh, God.
But these types of injuries invariably, you get
Pretty
arthritis
good.
to set in. So when they said,
Passing the gavel.
I'm gonna kiss you.
None of that.
Three of that thing.
Today?
Boy, this is just not like our chairman.
Coming in late like that.
What, only being 5 minutes late?
Less than punctual. Gracious.
Okay, sorry about that, everybody.
Dock you from night's pay.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's all right.
They asked me if I was vice chairman, I said no.
Are we ready to go, Karen?
Yes.
I haven't touched this computer in that time, so I think
Aaron always brings
got a long way to go.
You guys need to work on that.
the battery's very low. Okay, fine. I'm gonna take it.
Okay, all right, in that case, I hereby call the March 7th, 2019 Design Review Board meeting to order. Let's see. First item on the agenda then is announcements.
I'm gonna take it.
Tim, you're going the wrong direction.
go ahead, any announcements?
Okay. All right, in that case, we'll jump straight into items to be heard. The first item on the agenda is the shops at Inlet Master Signage Plan. And I see we have some information at our places.
Yes, good evening. Tim Brown with Planning and Development. This was provisionally approved at the December meeting, so they could go ahead and put their signs up, but you guys wanted some changes to the master plan. They've since done that mostly through the narrative, not so much with the graphics. The graphics, for the most part, didn't change, but the narrative did, and best I can tell, they've did everything you guys were wanting them to do, so I'll answer any
I saw the
questions.
signage the other day, it looked good.
Yeah, I haven't actually been out there. I've approved all those signs, but I haven't actually seen them.
Yeah,
Yeah, I seen
I
it.
just went there like yesterday. They look real good, very good.
Yeah, a lot of it is on the,
Yep.
the last page, page number 4, under the notes. One sign per tenant regardless of the number of bays to be centered over a single bay
Oh,
or
we all have
centered over the
different ones.
combined bays.
Oh, we're,
Yep.
oh.
I'm sorry, Tim, so you'll wonder, explanation of why we're all flipping pages. We all have multiple copies of the same one, I think the way
Take
the
one and
packets
pass
got
it.
assembled,
But
yes.
they
One
did
and
go
pass
late.
it.
Yep,
When somebody printed it.
that's okay.
Oh,
Here's one,
okay.
okay.
Okay, so
They
here's
each got
you
one.
one.
Everybody.
Okay,
knows.
here's
I got
one.
me one, there's you one.
Just give me one and I'll pass it down.
I know, this
Which
is,
way we
Okay, I
going?
got an
Right
urgent and a
here?
donuts.
One.
alright.
You can pass some more donuts down. Here's some
It's like
donuts for
words.
y'all.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's like crazy.
One of those.
Donuts for you.
That's from him.
Yeah, I got one.
That goes, you already got that. That's what you handed me, so
Oh,
you
okay.
need to give it to David.
And yours from me
I'm
is the
missing
one that.
something here.
I'm missing, that's what you're missing.
I may need one of those, Lourdes. Missing that.
Okay, these guys, you have any of these?
You have any left?
I've got
No,
I have one.
I don't even know what I
You
have.
have mine?
Need a donut.
I'm missing something.
There's two
I
different
have
donut
two
signs.
donuts.
There's,
Okay, I have two donuts.
there's a donut with,
I-
without poché and a donut with poché.
Yeah,
Okay.
I feel like I'm in elementary school.
And I'm still missing one.
Are we
Yeah,
planning
I'm
on
probably missing one. Oh, that's it.
Yep.
just play Go Fish?
Yeah, yeah. And we gave him a bunch of things.
I got an extra
Cafe
urgent
donuts.
couple of
I
urgent
have two
cares.
cafe donuts, does somebody need to?
Anybody need a real
We're
estate
supposed to
example?
have two.
You're
Oh,
supposed to have
we're
one
supposed
that's, one's got, is dark letters and the other's, outlines.
Anybody need a real estate?
But you've got two
Everybody got
outlines.
real estate?
Oh, okay. No, she does. She's got
I
two
have no
outline
idea
donuts.
what
Where
order.
is
Yeah,
the,
there's
uh,
definitely supposed to do one of those, yeah.
So where is the,
Do you have this?
I don't know, what does it look like?
Okay.
And this was the same.
I've got one of those, yep.
You do?
No, I don't.
You don't? Okay.
Here,
This
another one.
goes to you.
Anybody need more donuts?
Okay, so we have two signs that say Cafe Aroma and Coffee Donuts Deli.
All right,
One that says South Walton Eye Care,
okay.
one that says Real Estate, one that says Urgent Care. I think that's it.
How many are there,
Supposed to
David?
have two cafes.
It looks like
Yeah,
there's
I thought
one.
you were here.
Okay, I've got 2 urgent cares.
South Walton's, Emerald Cove.
Come on, can we do this again?
There appear to be 5 different sheets, is that correct?
Is there,
Tim, is that correct?
I
5
have
different?
5, I have 5.
I only have one page, so I'm not sure. All I have is cupcake, that's all
No,
I
I
got.
think-
Cupcake,
One.
we don't have any
We don't
cupcakes.
have
One
that.
cupcake.
Really?
No.
You gotta pass, take
Yeah.
one of those.
Well, how about we
Take
do
one,
this?
Keep
Take
one.
one, keep one,
Yeah.
and,
I'll trade you a
Oh,
copy
you got
for
the
a
same thing.
cupcake.
That's why we got some of your drawings here.
Donut, I'll take the
no,
copy.
I'm sorry, Tim. You need one, Tim, don't you?
Well, most of the changes were done in the narrative. I mean, there is some changes on there because it says channel letters, but most of the changes were in the narrative.
I got 3 of
I
the,
do
Tim, do
too.
you need copies of this and the
Cupcakes.
real estate?
cupcakes.
2
Just
of them
amazing
are
how somebody can
urgent
generate
cares.
enough selling
Views.
cupcakes to have a retail store.
The cupcakes, because I don't have
There's
to have
2
cupcakes.
cupcake shops in this place?
Well, I'm gonna abstain from voting.
Cupcake? I don't have a cupcake.
Did you guys have this one?
Yep.
I don't have
No.
one.
Okay.
There's 2 cupcake shops in this,
Whoops.
and a
Here's
donut
a
shop?
cupcake.
Well, I think
Here's
it's the same
cupcakes.
Hey, I got a
cupcake
cupcake.
shop, I hope.
Nope.
Well, they may have 2 signs, they're on the corner. they may
Okay,
have-
now we have 6 sheets.
Here,
Okay.
pass down.
Oh, there are 2 cupcakes.
There's 2 cupcakes.
Cupcakes, okay.
Blue one, blue background and clear.
Okay, this one,
So,
Oh, I don't have that one.
okay, so there's 2
Seven
cupcakes, they're just showing different.
I'm missing a dark blue cupcake.
Well,
you need a, you got any dark blue cupcakes?
And they gonna go to the eye care
Have
center.
you got a dark blue cupcake one?
There you go.
Oh, dark blue cupcake?
There you go. They knew what they was doing.
I think they're scary.
Knew exactly what they were doing.
and I thought we were gonna break a record today with a short
Then
meeting.
the real estate company's gonna turn into a senior assisted living.
I don't have that one yet.
Martini.
There's some extras. Do you need any of these?
Nah, I'm good.
Sorry, pass the rest down. Okay.
So, yeah, I got all of these.
Okay,
Okay, Lee, do you have a,
there's 2 South Walton Eye Care? No, it's the same. Okay.
Y'all look confused.
South
Leave
Walton
that
Eye Care?
I have that. Anybody need an eye care?
I have one of those, I'm good.
I got it.
You got it? Okay, Lee, you
These
got
are
this?
extras.
Okay.
All right,
Tim, you think we got everything squared away now?
I hope so. I mean, I don't have any of the graphics, but I mean, if there's any questions,
Okay, so there's 2 cupcakes.
Kevin does.
I have 7 unique pages
Okay.
in front
I
of me.
need a blue cup here.
don't,
I'm looking. Here-
I would
nope, don't have
suggest
blue
you
here.
look
I
at
have
the
that one.
electronic version. And
Oh, this is the same thing that we have in our packet?
I only have,
yes, so you should be able to,
what am I missing?
well, that's what Karen is telling me.
Coffee and a cupcake.
I only have 6. David, which one's the one that you have?
Well, Tim, how much does it,
2 cupcakes.
I mean, as long as you have an accurate set.
2 urgent cares.
Oh, there's 2 urgent cares, that's what I'm missing.
Okay. Or have you got the side view or the front?
Yeah, you guys did allow for
I
2
never saw
urgent
these
care
in our
signs.
packet.
Oh, I only have, that's probably what we have.
You're welcome.
Is that your set?
Yes.
Tim, did something change versus the electronic version? Or did you just print them out for their benefit?
There's one
Sheet? Nope. Yes, it is. It is actually. Yep, thank you. Oh, it's the graphics there. I see.
I'm
Yep.
pretty sure.
Cause remember one was supposed to go up high. No, there was, wasn't there independent?
See, I uploaded the digital file into this folder, into this project
Okay.
folder, but she brought the hard copies that they turned in.
Okay, so this is Karen's fault, is what you're saying?
I did not
It's
say that.
Karen.
How dare you not be God?
Tim did not say that. But the electronic file should be correct, because all I did was upload that electronic file into the project folder. These are the hard copies that the applicant provided, so the electronic folder should be the same thing.
I didn't see these in the electronic folder, but
Huh, well, I
I assume that's why we have them.
Okay, we got it now.
thought I uploaded it in that file.
Oh, no.
What is it? There's two cupcakes.
Oh, we don't have that one.
Two coffee shops,
Oh, that's a different location, isn't
two
it?
South Walton Fair.
Tim, is the applicant here?
Yes, the applicant is here.
Okay. Maybe he can explain everything for us.
Okay, and what are these?
That'll take the fun out of it, we know.
Are there two urgent care?
Yes.
Yes.
Do you need another one?
One is the side view and the other one's the front view.
I'm missing the urgent care.
Okay, I'll just take this.
We're not going to,
I've got two eye cares and
we're
another.
not going to have as quick a need to switch.
Really?
I want you to know I'm a player though, I'll go far.
Right.
I'm not, I'm gonna quit.
Oh,
There you go.
Oh, I don't have
now
that
that
one.
is in our.
Oh, I don't have that either.
This is in our folder.
So I'm only been building my time.
This was in there.
There's no telling that. It stings,
That's in our
you know.
packet.
Oh, my.
You were the only town. You were the only town.
More, excuse me.
No, it's fine.
Thank you. And a site plan.
Forget the work ethic.
Okay, I lost track of the number there. I think it's 9 maybe.
Yeah, the last two things we just got, I think, are in the packet.
Yeah, no.
At any price I can find them.
Really?
It's all
This is
changed
the main
in the,
identifier right
I
here.
don't know, 8 years I've been away from them.
I don't remember that.
Hmm?
I don't remember that on the building.
So Tim, forgive me, did you say the narrative is where we need
It's
to be
not.
focused on?
Well, I can go over, you guys wanted to, one sign per tenant. They did that in the note section on the last page, page 4. Note number 1 is one sign per tenant regardless of number of bays, to be centered over a single bay or centered over the combined bays. Then you wanted the east-west facing signs will be required to be internally lit with a white face. So the graphics show channel letters. Then you allowed urgent care to have 2 signs on the corner, so those signs are shown. They're already up, but they're also shown. No gooseneck lighting. They have to be internally lit, so they're showing the channel letters. And then the last condition was that they come back at this meeting, bring it back at the March meeting. So, best I can tell, they've done everything that you guys requested. It's just getting it all in one thing, one package.
Just technically, I think it was not to have the gooseneck lighting over the signs that are internally lit. Because aren't the signs on the front of the building not lit?
That's correct.
Some of them are
So
non-illuminated.
there's where you'll have your goosenecks. Yeah, and I think their graphics showed goosenecks everywhere, even if the sign was internally lit.
Yeah, well, she took them, that just went away. There's
Oh,
no-
all of them?
Yeah, there's no goosenecks now.
Huh.
Either it's lit with channel letters or
Unlighted.
it's non-illuminated.
Interesting.
I'm pretty sure there's no gooseneck lighting at all now.
Really? So what is
Yeah,
what is
she's
the
showing
little
some of the signs are non-illuminated, if you look at the text. I'm sorry, Lourdes?
on Cafe Aroma, the Coffee Donuts Deli? Above the signage, there's a little, looks like a little light above it. What is that?
You'd have to ask the applicant. I don't have what you have.
Oh, okay, well,
It's probably the gooseneck, because it's a non-illuminated.
I know.
Which
It doesn't
elevation
look-
is it on?
Cause
front.
he just said that they
It's on
eliminated
this.
all the goosenecks,
Must be.
and there's something in there.
There's something there, but it
ordering
doesn't look like a
goosenecks.
gooseneck, it
I
just
should
looks like
check
a
'em
flat.
out.
Yeah, because a gooseneck, it would be higher,
Building
but
sign.
it's just a graphic, so
It
it
says
might be.
non-illuminated.
But I think they showed the gooseneck last time.
Yeah, it's definitely showing
goosenecks
goosenecks.
last time,
Mm-hmm.
which wasn't
Well,
even
they
their
have
intention.
goosenecks
Right.
out
It was just on
over
the plans.
shops at Inlet, in the
Yeah.
facade.
But the narrative says that sign's non-illuminated. Main identification building sign, that's what you're looking at.
Non-illuminated raised metal building.
But they didn't clean up the elevations.
The narrative says non-illuminated.
Is the narrative what matters?
You
I
have
think
to
ideally it'd be all
prioritize it,
properly
because,
coordinated, yeah.
so you just,
As far as I'm aware, the north and south elevations, the dimensional signage are externally.
R?
I don't know why they wouldn't.
The main ID sign does not have a gooseneck. The tenant signs, I believe, has
The narrative says non-illuminated.
It looks to me like there's a gooseneck.
Type 1 is a non-illuminated sign.
this and this, what are they?
Yeah, so as an example, looking at the south Walton Eye Care sheet, that's the south elevation. It describes suites 3, 4, 5, and 6, so that's 4 signs. If you look at the graphic, there are 4 signs over the glass doors in the center portion of the building. And due to the roof slope, you can't see, if there was a gooseneck above them, you can't see it, there's not one depicted. So
And
it
then-
says non-illuminated,
Yeah, the graphic says non-illuminated.
yeah.
But then in the panels between the glasses in that panel, there's two,
What is, I can't read
what
what
are
it says
they?
in there.
Yeah,
Yeah. I can't read what that,
I mean, I'm,
That same fixture that you're referring to on the, the south elevation
yeah.
is on the north elevation, however, it's over the sign.
yeah. But then there's,
Yeah, but see, well, let's see.
See there, see, it's over the sign.
oh, yeah, there,
On
but
the north,
here,
I mean,
here
It's
it's,
different on the two. It's
Yeah.
like, here it's over the signage and here it's on the side.
yeah, it's on the side, the panel in
And
between
look,
the
on the
door.
north elevation, you got the,
Yeah. The little residential thing.
but they're not illuminating the sign.
No.
This
See
is
what I'm saying?
actually a good
then
model for
look.
multi-developments.
Look at the south elevation, you
Yeah.
got that same little gooseneck
Right.
in between the.
So Tim, I guess the
Let's see.
The drawings, it's fair to say the drawings are somewhat confusing in terms of what is illuminated, is face lit versus the letters being,
Here.
themselves
I'm asking
being,
is this, these, what are they?
lit. In other words, the expression non-illuminated, does that mean there's no light whatsoever associated with the sign, or does it just mean that the light is not part of the sign, i.e. a gooseneck?
Well, I don't know the answer, but when I see non-illuminated, that means no lighting at all.
Yeah, no gooseneck, no
Lighting.
light,
Normally, that's what it means.
yeah.
But they are showing gooseneck lighting over the main identification sign, even though this says non-illuminated.
Well, yeah, but for example, this sheet isn't making, even though you can see shops at Inlet and the goosenecks and signage and that, this sheet is, the way I interpret the sheet, is only referring to these 4 signs.
Yeah, yeah,
So
the
you look at a
narrative,
different sheet to get
yeah,
the
the
other
narrative
information.
says suites 3 through 6, so
Yeah.
I agree.
So those are described as non-illuminated, there's no gooseneck shown, so one assumes that the intent is that those signs are just mounted on the building face and at night you don't see them.
That's what I would
Yeah.
assume, yes.
So, I guess my concern would be is if we have documents that are inaccurate in the sense that what's going to be installed does not match what's in the document, we need revised documents.
Yeah,
Otherwise, technically, we're having signs that aren't approved installed.
Yeah, and these are the documents I use when approving the signs and when they come in.
Yeah.
So I guess, do we want to afford the applicant a chance to talk to us? Maybe we can, if we can clearly correct this, speaking for myself only, I would be comfortable disposing of, having an action tonight, as long as it's very clear what we're approving.
Okay, so, what's in question at this point is the gooseneck lighting or
Any
external
lighting.
lighting?
All the lighting.
I'll use this one as an example. I guess,
Okay.
could you introduce yourself for the record? I know-
Steve Russell with Boardwalk Designs.
Okay, thank you. So I'm gonna again use the South Walton Eye Care,
Okay,
and as I understand it, it's referring only to the 4 signs, the tenant signs that are in the center of the building, and they're indicated in red on our drawing.
correct.
And so this sheet is describing them as non-illuminated raised letter building signs. So, as you understand it, is this South Walton Eye Care sign has no lighting whatsoever, no face lit, no gooseneck, no?
As far as I'm aware, they are externally lit. They have, not gooseneck lighting, but they do have lamps
Okay.
that were
Well,
provided by
drawing
the
doesn't-
developer.
Yeah,
Or
I'm gonna ask Tim, I guess.
is the lighting
You-
underneath the overhang?
No, if you
yeah,
look
the
at,
phrase non-illuminated is a
Look
little bit
at this
misleading.
page here,
if you look at
that's
the-
the south elevation,
Yeah,
and it doesn't, it shows where the signage is located, and there's a fixture above it,
right, well,
but it's
I
not a
think it's
gooseneck.
difference
I mean,
in
it's some kind of fixture. See, it's the
terminology.
same
To
elevation.
us, it's a non.
Yeah, but I guess
sign.
where I'm going is
It's not
I'm
internally
sticking to-
illuminated.
while the same, I'm guessing they
I'm
just took
showing
the
that
architect's drawing and
lamp
kind of put it in the
fixtures here.
background. So this language refers to these 4 signs here. It doesn't refer to this sign, doesn't refer to that sign.
Right, but what about the lighting that it shows?
Yeah, but-
There is no gooseneck lighting.
Yeah, so I'm just gonna hone in
Is
on,
that it just needs to
this
match.
sheet, my problem is the phrase non-illuminated, which is up here in the top left. The applicant just told us the signs are illuminated.
Externally illuminated.
That's a,
Correct.
it's a problem.
Conflicts.
Yeah.
So if that's what we need to do, is make those changes.
What this should say is
Externally illuminated.
yeah, externally illuminated raised letter building sign.
Yes.
Okay.
So let's just take, so that, we got a grasp of that, and that type of thing, we could say, okay, on this sheet, correct it to show, and we
Anything
vote.
on, anything that I'm looking at
Everything's
here
good.
that currently reads non-illuminated, should read externally illuminated.
Okay,
So we can make that.
so, I'm only doing this because I'm the chairman, so supposedly I'm supposed to be moving things along, so forgive me for sounding bossy.
That's fine.
But do you want to walk us through, do you have each of these in front of you as well?
I do.
Do you want to hold each one of these up and make sure we're all looking at the same sheet, and you can walk us through what your intention is?
For the signage lighting.
And then maybe we can come up with a slightly complex motion that will correct these documents to the point that the staff can then administratively, because I think the feedback that I'm hearing is aesthetically, we're all pretty pleased with how this is going. So I hate to make you come back to another meeting.
Right.
So if we can kind of get corrections done in the motion, then we can give this to staff to wrap it up.
Okay.
Cool,
Um,
so,
We want to start with that South Walton Eye Care.
sure.
That is the south elevation,
Is everybody good with which one we're looking at?
4
All right.
signs, south elevation.
Okay, so,
Those are, for suites 3, 4, 5, and 6 on north elevation, those are, dimensional, externally illuminated signs.
Question,
Yes, sir.
are they all South Walton Eye Care, or is that on just on one?
No,
street?
that's just in one unit.
So
There's-
that's just an example of
That's
what
an example of the,
your master plan that's gonna
Correct,
do. So,
correct.
okay.
yeah, so we've effectively, we've struck on the 3rd line down in the text, not counting the heading, after type, colon, we've struck non-illuminated and we've replaced it with the words externally illuminated.
correct.
How's everything else on that sheet?
Everything else is accurate.
Okay, Anybody have any questions on that one? All right, I'll put my check mark on that one. All right, which one's next?
Maybe the south elevation, which is, again shows the South Walton Eye Care.
Okay, so it's another one with,
It's basically just a mirror of the north
It's a
elevation.
mirror, but it's the same sign.
Okay.
Same 4 units, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Should read externally illuminated rather than
I'm sorry.
non-illuminated.
So all of these bays go straight through the building, right?
Correct.
So y'all see that? All the,
The
there's
four,
4 bays.
the
and they
four
go
center
front
units.
And a
In the
back.
back.
Yep.
They go
Okay.
straight through.
Okay.
yep. So which one are we looking at now? I'm sorry. So
this
are we
would
looking-
be South Walton Eye Care again, but this was the south.
I'm not sure we
South
have it
elevation.
the same as that. It'll just say, should be the only difference should be, it should say north elevation or south elevation here, but it should be exact.
Is
I'm
this the
It should
assuming-
say on the banner at the top, it should say south.
We don't
3,
have
4, 5, and 6 tenant
I don't
building
have a
signs.
Yeah.
south.
I think we only have that one, so maybe I was confused.
I don't have
Look
a
at
south.
shops at the inlet. That's
Yeah,
Right.
that's the same one. Yeah, those are the same.
both souths.
Well, they look the same.
That's
It
not what
doesn't
y'all
matter.
want.
It should be the same north and south,
Okay,
right?
well, let me ask this is the important part. Tim, are you following? Okay, so you have,
Tim goes away and says,
well, no, what I mean is we want to have one master copy that's marked up that the staff then sits down
yeah,
with, so.
This is the same.
So, I'm gonna speak for myself, I'm confused because in the, I've got 2 south elevations. One is the one that has the example of South Walton Eye Care, and then there's another one that has the example of Emerald Coast Urgent Care.
Emerald Coast Urgent Care is on the corner.
On the
It's
corner,
a
on
corner
the right.
unit, it's unit,
So that's that
It's not
sign.
3, 5,
Suite
4,
9.
5, or 6.
Yeah,
It's
so I
another
guess what
one,
I'm
right?
not seeing is I'm not seeing another,
8, 9 would be that.
so I'm just
So
missing
Emerald
the
Coast
page.
Urgent Care would be,
North elevation
We all
is
might
the
be.
cupcake shop.
Yeah.
I only had the south
And
elevation for eye care. Did you
the
have another one?
cafe
That's all I
aroma.
have too.
I guess
Don't know.
I'm a little confused as to why do we have a second sheet for this?
Because it goes all the way through and there's a sign on the, at the front of the bay and the back of the bay. The front's the
Correct.
south, the back's the north.
Okay, so the question is, do I have a north elevation?
Is it exactly the same sign on the front and the back? For those
It-
4 tenants, or for those 4 tenant
the
bays?
dimensions vary slightly because of the space, but
Okay.
they are the same size.
Same illumination,
Correct,
raised lettering,
correct,
but just a little smaller.
Yes, I'm just, I think
correct. The ones on
me
the
along with
north
another,
side
a number of
are
other folks are
slightly
missing that
larger.
sheet.
Yep,
Um,
I don't have the north.
And so,
The
And neither
north,
does
and
Kevin.
the north is, this is the only one that's got the north elevation.
yeah, but what this,
I
this sheet is about this sign here, Donna, I believe, it's not about these 4.
Okay, that's,
Yeah.
that's right.
Yeah, so, but Tim says he's following, you've got a north elevation for suites 3 through 6. Yeah, okay, and so I guess walk us through the change on that one, same change?
Same change, type should be externally illuminated rather than non-illuminated.
Okay? Whether you have the sheet or not, are you good with that, everybody? Okay, awesome, next one.
Yeah. Let's get all the,
What about Suite 7, north elevation?
I'm sorry?
Suite 7, north elevation?
I don't have any for the north elevation, does anybody? Oh,
Yeah.
wait.
Yeah, I have.
These two
Not
are
for,
both
but
north
not for
elevation.
suites 3, 4, 5, and 6.
Cupcakes.
No, that's what we just talked about.
Cupcake and donuts are north elevations.
Yeah, but it's
Yeah,
not
but it's for
3
one, it's for one suite.
It's at the corner suite.
Suite 7 north,
Yeah,
which is Cafe Aroma,
says non-illuminated.
that should read externally illuminated.
Individually
Okay, so that's-
surrounded.
Maybe the easiest way to follow this, guys, is that on the bottom right-hand side of the sheet, there's Suite 7 building tenant sign specs.
Is that the one we're on right now?
That's the one we're on now.
So
And that's a corner
removing the
suite.
illuminated.
That is a corner
Correct, it's a
suite, yeah.
corner because on the east elevation is channel letters. for this same.
Okay, and this one has the same change. After the third line down, after the word type colon, it's
Externally,
cross out, non-illuminated, and it's externally illuminated.
correct.
Any other changes on that sheet?
No.
So the next one would be, Suite 1, north elevation. This is saying non-illuminated.
Suite 1 north.
That'd be the Cupcake Shop.
Suite 1 Cupcake Shop, same thing, type should read externally illuminated.
The next one would be the main identification sign, building sign, it says non-illuminated.
The shops at Inlet,
Yeah,
Main ID sign.
correct.
building sign, main ID building sign. Now, they did, I failed to mention that, they did add climate signs, the main ID sign to this, that wasn't there last month. They weren't prepared, they didn't have it because of the hurricane last time. So they did add that to this package, is the main ID sign fronting 98, but right now we're
But the-
talking about that one.
That's
The
this
building
one, Tim?
sign should be externally illuminated also.
So,
See, this one says, so this, we're all looking at shops at Inlet, main ID sign? Is that what we're looking at now?
No, that's gonna be the
Building,
monument,
main
the
ID
Oh.
building sign.
and it said it's not illuminated.
I got the wrong.
should be
This is ground
externally,
sign.
It should be illuminated.
yes, externally
Wait,
illuminated.
let's just make sure we're all on the same sign.
It should be,
Okay, yeah, so that must be in our electronic packet, not a hard copy.
Yeah.
All right.
that's the one you have there is the monument that was added.
Okay.
Yep, there it
And
is in the
then-
packet. Okay.
So I think that's all the changes to the narrative, and then the next would be the main ID sign that you guys haven't previously seen. This is the first time you're seeing it.
And
Okay,
that's the ground sign, that's,
so that's this one here,
that's
yeah,
the sign.
okay. So, is it accurate as presented? Because on mine, at the last line of the description, illuminated, no.
That's correct, there's no illumination.
Okay, that's correct. All right. So this sheet, does this sheet need any other changes, or any changes?
No, sir.
Okay. Awesome.
So,
Okay, so here's a sheet we haven't talked about yet. This one is Suites 8 and 9 building tenant sign specifications, and it has the Emerald Coast Urgent Care as an example.
Correct.
East,
South elevation is the one I'm looking at.
South
So,
elevation is
South elevation of the building.
channel letters.
All right, so, it, type is individual stud-mounted channel letters and medical cross graphic. Doesn't say anything about lighting unless I'm missing it, but we know that the
It's
red
internally illuminated.
cross it, so,
internally,
so should we, after type colon, third line, should we start that phrase with internally illuminated, comma, individually stud-mounted channel letters and medical cross graphic?
We can make that change.
On the graphic,
under type,
Yeah, Tim, what I'm saying is that, so on this sheet, third line down, type, colon,
okay.
start that phrase with internally illuminated, so it would read
Well,
internally.
what they have in the narrative,
Yeah,
individual illuminated channel letters and medical cross graphics, so it probably should say the same.
okay, yeah, that's fine.
where is that, Tim?
in the
It's in
narrative.
the narrative.
Oh,
Look under Suite 9, south elevation.
yeah, but I mean, I have mirror faces, medical cross graphic face, red, white, maximum 54 square feet. Which line?
It's in the,
It's on page 4,
Oh,
Suite 9,
Okay, in the
south
narrative,
elevation.
The
okay.
narrative's in the packet, online.
online, and I don't have online.
She put it in red because you guys allowed allowed 2 signs on that elevation just for the urgent care. If something else
This
came
is
in
the
there, they
area
couldn't have
there,
2
it
signs.
should be like all in here, right?
Yeah.
But I don't see it.
I don't know.
Okay.
This is-
Again, Tim, you're following along and,
Well, I don't have the graphic, but I have the narrative.
okay. Well, I'll hand you my packet.
I
How
don't
about
even
that?
know what Tim's talking
Okay.
about.
The
graphics should match the narrative,
Yeah.
which is basically what we're achieving
Yeah.
right now.
Right.
Okay, so, what I have left sitting in front of me are all east and west elevations.
Which are all, internally illuminated channel letters.
Okay, so on these packets, so I have Suite 1 building tenant sign for west, Suite 2 building tenant sign for west, Suites 8 and 9 building tenant sign for east, and Suite 7 building tenant sign for east. And I believe all of them are identical. Well, no, they look a little different, but, may just be the way the format is. Yeah, they're identical text, it just happens to be formatted slightly differently. And so on all 4 of these sheets, again, on the 3rd line down, type colon, on this drawing existing, it reads individual stud mounted channel letters. So Tim, do you have language in the narrative?
Let's see. It says individually illuminated channel letters in the narrative.
Okay. All right.
So the narrative is just not matching up with this, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, based on that exercise, I'm feeling like unless we have a different issue that anybody wants to bring up, I think we've made some good headway in terms of maybe a motion.
Yeah, you just need to include the monument sign in your motion because it wasn't previously approved.
Does that need to be 2 separate motions?
No, not necessarily.
Those master signage plans.
I'll make a motion to approve as corrected. That's what we've already corrected on the different signs individually, northwest, north, south, east, west, and a motion, or included in that motion to adopt and approve the Shops at Inlet Beach main ID sign as well.
And so just to clarify, so that was the, corrections made by the applicant at tonight's meeting?
Yes.
Yeah.
Karen, do you think that we'll have all that? I think so. Okay. Okay.
And I'll just begin speaking for myself. I'm comfortable that Tim was following along, and so I'm gonna hand him my notes, and I feel pretty comfortable that he'll be able to get this
Okay.
corrected.
I'll second the motion.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Do we have any further conversation, questions from the board? Any further comments from the applicant?
Sir.
Any comments or questions from the audience? For the record, nobody indicated interest. All right. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. All right.
You leaving? You're
Yeah,
done.
I'm done.
You're done.
Thank you.
Okay, item number 2 is Keys to Shine monument sign, which I believe this was continued from the last meeting? So-
Yes, it was continued from the last meeting because you guys wanted to know the actual colors of the sign. I emailed the applicant to that effect. This was continued at the meeting because they want additional information on the color. I got no response in return, so I have nothing new to provide you or give you.
Make a motion to continue.
Yeah, I'm ready to.
Well, can I ask one question? I mean, we can put the motion in, I'll ask one question anyway, but however you want to do it. Okay. Madam Attorney, subsequent to the last meeting, I happen to drive by this location on a relatively regular basis.
Okay.
And I happened to stop at a stop sign where I had the sign in my field of view so I could kind of stare at it and think about it for a little while. My impression is that the applicant is just spiffing the existing sign up, or is it a new sign, or is that clear? Because the sign looks vaguely like the drawing today.
Same size too.
I haven't been out there.
Okay. And so I guess my
It
question
shouldn't
is
be up
can I
since it
share
hasn't
with
been
the board
approved.
some observations? Okay.
Yeah, so,
Old sign.
Oh, the old sign?
He's not saying they've already put it up.
No, I'm not saying they've already put the sign up. What I'm saying is that it looks, based on looking at the sign a week ago, I guess it was, and looking at the application again tonight, my impression is that the applicant's intention is simply to clean the sign up and, change some of the copy on the sign.
is the applicant here?
No.
No.
So-
Okay.
That's
All right, so, generally speaking, you guys, whenever you make your decisions on this board, you're acting in a quasi judicial
Yeah,
capacity.
that's my question, yeah.
Right, so you want to rely on the information that's before you. So that would be the information in your board packet, any information that Tim gives you in a meeting. If the applicant's here and gives you that information, that's what you want to rely on. You guys are a unique board, though, because it's particular to US 98, and it's kind of geared towards your experience, your particular experience with the corridor. So it's somewhat okay to rely on your own observations of the area and things like that. But if you have a lot of particular knowledge about the sign, it might be, it might be delving into a different situation. But I mean, from what you've described so far, I think it would be appropriate to talk about.
Okay.
And if we get into an inappropriate area, I'll just cut you off if that's okay.
That's fine, yeah.
Please do.
Yeah, you want the gavel?
Darts. Blow dart.
Okay, so I guess what I'm sharing with everybody is that based on what's there today and based on the package that's presented to us, and to a certain extent based on the fact the applicant hasn't showed up for 2 meetings, my impression is that maybe they're kind of surprised that all they want to do is just change a little bit of copy and repaint the sign. Anything would look better than what's there. It's pretty dilapidated looking. So, yeah, but certainly if anyone else has any observations, I'm open to.
Well, this is what I have at the moment on my screen. So here, I'm going from memory, but, it will eventually come up. I don't think so. I happen to drive by this like every day. I think that what's there now, actually has a little embellishment across the top in white, and I believe the face of the sign matches the color of that front door.
Yeah.
And this, we have no idea what color this is. That's the problem. All
Okay.
we want to know is what the color is.
Right.
It just says aluminum, painted aluminum. So what color is that, and does it match the building? I mean, if we end up with a bright blue, or this looks gray, but I have no idea what this is.
Right.
Could be
So-
anything.
Yeah, so that's, I think, all we want, is the information that we're normally provided.
Okay, I'm cool.
I make a motion, we continue.
Second.
We got a motion and a second. Any other comments or questions from the board?
Aye.
Anything from staff? Anything from the audience? Okay, no one
Bless you.
indicated anything for the record. In that case, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
Yeah, and it'd be entirely appropriate for you guys to, if the applicant's still not here and you still don't have enough information to grant the request, it'd be perfectly appropriate next meeting to deny the request and allow them to
Good.
reapply.
I
Okay.
think we have 3, kind of our
Yeah.
norm is 3
Yeah.
times.
All right, next item up is item number 3, which is Planet Secure Building sign. And actually, I have a question, Madam. I don't
Yes.
think this is a conflict, but I do business with Planet Secure, but I pay them, not the other way around. So is that a?
No, so it's just, no, it should be fine. It wouldn't impact your decision-making in any way, would
No.
it? Okay.
So, we ready?
Yes.
Okay, this is a request for a building sign measuring 180 inches by 29.2 inches for a total of 36.5 square feet. It's in Santa Rosa Plaza, which is one of the few plazas on Highway 98 that does not have a master sign plan, so that means it has to come before you. It is in compliance with the scenic corridor regulations, and I'll answer any questions you may have.
You ready for us to?
Yes, go ahead, yes, absolutely.
My only question, I can't, jeez. I actually looked at all this stuff maybe a little too early, because I can't remember. But I did have a question about the illumination, and I couldn't tell from the graphic, but I wanna say it said something somewhere about it being internally illuminated, maybe?
Yeah, they're channel letters, so they're internally lit channel letters.
They are?
Yes.
The graphic doesn't look like it, and there's actually a note on the graphic that says, please verify everything. Nothing on this graphic can be relied on, basically. So I'm just, it doesn't look like the usual, like it's black, so are they illuminated, but the face is black? How is it working?
Yeah, it says black faces
Is the
We have
applicant
the applicant
or
here?
representative here?
with a white light. Yeah, I called him about that, because it did not identify how it was being illuminated, and he indicated that it was internally lit channel letters.
Okay, great.
And please introduce yourself for the record.
Kim Sutton with Vintage Art and Sign.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, they are internally illuminated channel letters, face lit. They have black perf on the faces during the day. They're black. At night, they light white.
Okay,
Are there not two pictures on what you have?
no, just the one,
Just one.
Just one.
Yeah?
please, thank you.
Here it is, Kim.
Oh, got it, okay, thank you, that's helpful. That's an example of another project.
Oh, cool, yeah.
There, you can see the dimension and everything there in that example much
Yep.
better. That's all I had.
Great.
Okay, do we have any other questions, comments?
Those letters are all within the size limits and everything?
Yes, they are.
Okay.
Make a motion, we approve.
Second.
Okay, it's properly moved and seconded. Any other questions or comments? Anything from you, Mr. Applicant?
No, sir.
Okay, staff? Anybody in the audience? No one indicated interest in the audience. So all in favor, say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
All right. The next item up is item number 4, South Walton Pools Building Sign.
Yes, this is a request for a building sign measuring 156 inches by 34 inches for a total of 36.83 inches. It's located at the old equipment place just up the street from Publix, and it is in compliance. They've had a banner up because they didn't have any other signage, so we're anxious to get that banner down. But I'll answer any questions you may have.
Are these internally lit channels?
No, these are, my understanding is it's non-illuminated, yes, non-illuminated.
But they're dimensional?
They're dimensional, yes. They're raised dimensional letters.
Is it gonna be externally lit or anything like that?
Non-illuminated,
Okay.
that's what they're telling me, non-illuminated.
And Tim, is that, I was gonna say, is it on the checklist somewhere? Is all this?
Yeah,
It's on the checklist, yes.
it's way down toward one of the last pages.
It's on the last page about, well, it's the second from the top. It says illumination, non-illuminated. And it raised individual routed PVC letters with a minimum rise of 3/4 inch. I mean, you can't really tell that from the graphic, but that's,
It's just a rendering, right? That's why. What'd you say, Tom?
Page 10 of 11 on the checklist.
yes, 10 of 11.
Okay, so. Okay, everybody comfortable with what we're reviewing?
Is that a logo graphic or do you know?
I do not know, but their monument sign is similar, except I believe it has a picture of a pool on it. Because
But
all
that
they were
hasn't-
doing was switching out the name, so I approved the monument because it's not a new monument, it's just a new text, but it's basically the same thing, except it shows a pool in the middle of, between South Walton and Pools.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, it's been properly moved and seconded. Do we have any other questions or comments from the board? Is the applicant present? Would you like to make any comment? You don't have to, but you, okay. All right. Good sentiment. All right, staff,
Developing a reputation.
audience. Okay, in that case, we are ready to vote. All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you. Yes, sir.
Okay, our last item has a couple issues. One being the applicant isn't here, but the main one being she didn't notify everyone
Wait,
within 300 feet.
the applicants indicated they're here. Yep, okay.
Oh, you are here for this?
Yes.
I'm sorry.
I'm her husband, Tony Gallo, and the owner of the store.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
Perfect.
Okay, very
Well,
well,
she
made it.
didn't notify everyone within 300 feet.
Okay, to the best of our knowledge, I thought we did, I looked around and without measuring it out, I did the best we could. I think we, eight stores were around us and that's who we sent.
Okay. Well, Madam Attorney, if I could ask a question. If we were to take action on this, would the action be in jeopardy?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so Tim talked to me about this earlier, and I'm not exactly sure what the issue was, but there's a function on the property appraiser's website where you can, click on a parcel and then generate a list based on a certain number of feet. And whenever the planning staff pulled that list, the notices didn't line up.
Yeah,
So
there's 26 people, or 26 properties within the 300 foot. They only notified 4, they actually notified 5. One of them is not in the 300 foot.
Okay.
yeah.
So they notified 1 that they didn't need to notify, but they still only did 4 of 26, so.
Yeah, so
Okay.
my recommendation is that we continue the item and then they can re-notify everybody.
Okay.
They would have enough time, right, Karen, for the next meeting to send out the notification?
Okay, so one other quick question. Would it be okay for us to look at it and give any feedback?
No,
No,
it'd
we
be,
can't even look at
yeah,
it? Okay.
no, it'd be best if we continue it and not look at this item.
Okay, all right.
Just in case we get one of those people within 300 feet that would like to participate.
Okay, all right. And I guess where I'm going is we wouldn't attempt to take action, but we could give them feedback. No, we shouldn't do that.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Well,
Sorry.
Mr. Applicant, just understand that it's a procedural issue, so we don't want to do anything that comes back to haunt both of us. Cool. All right, in that case, I think there's one motion that would be appropriate.
To continue, motion to continue.
Second.
All right, it's been properly,
That's the April designer report meeting.
yep.
And all of our meetings are still gonna be here, right, Karen?
Yeah, I did all the seconds.
Okay. Okay, so we had a motion to continue to the April meeting, probably seconded. Any comments? We don't really need any comments from anybody? Audience?
Nope.
Audience? Nope. Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
And motion to,
Wait. Okay.
And I've got something before we get to that too.
Uh-oh.
oh, okay.
It's nothing major.
All right.
Quick.
Okay, we need to wait for Tim.
Yes,
Yes.
questions for him.
That's right.
Hey, Tim, sorry, for our additional business items.
Okay, so we got 2 additional business items, the small cell structure alternatives discussion, requested by Ms. Moore, and the code enforcement interaction with DRB discussion, also requested by Ms. Moore, and then Ms. Moore just indicated she has one other item. What would
Yes.
you like to, throw it out there?
Just kind of came to mind during one other item up here
Okay.
tonight. First of all, before we get to these two, I think there is a sign on that same shopping center that we were looking at earlier, that,
Santa Rosa Plaza.
Santa Rosa Plaza, sorry. I can
Yes,
never
they're,
remember.
they're doing code, the church,
Yes,
they're doing code action.
I didn't remember seeing it come through. That's all I need to know.
No, it didn't come through.
That's what I thought. Okay. I just want to make sure it was on somebody's radar.
Yes, I would talk to Mike, I forget, Tuesday maybe. Anyway, he's notified the applicant that they're in violation.
Okay. So do you want me to dive in, or do y'all, to staff, have any comments on these additional items?
I don't have any comments, no. I mean, I was directed to touch base with the city of Destin. I have not gotten to that, but I did ask around if anyone knew if Destin had an ordinance in relation to this, and I was told not that anyone's aware of, but I haven't talked to them
Absolutely.
directly.
They do. Kim Kopp is their land use attorney. She was talking about it at the meeting Monday night, the ordinance. She referred to it, and I've seen it and
What's
read it,
interesting,
so I
because
know.
I was talking to someone from Okaloosa County, not Destin, but Okaloosa County, and they're like, no, I don't think so.
Oh, they probably don't, but City of Destin does.
No, I was clear, the city of Destin, not
Well, can't
Okaloosa
talk.
But
County.
they might not have,
They probably don't know.
right, because it's two separate.
But
Cats
I,
and dogs.
Well,
That's
how
what I
about, so
Exactly.
I have Kim's contact information, so I'll just reach out to her and, so
Awesome.
you guys just wanna see a draft of their, Steve is like phone cameras, I'm sorry. But, I can reach out to her and just get a copy of the ordinance and send it to you all.
Great. And the other thing that I wanted,
Could I ask?
yes.
Oh, is it you still
It's
going
the
on the
same
cell tower?
topic.
Okay, yeah, keep going, okay. I
Okay.
had a question about,
Same thing,
Yeah.
or something different? Well, the other thing, and we've talked about it before, I would like to invite either someone else in the industry or the gentleman that came here before us before from AT&T, I believe it was, if you all have his contact info. I would love to invite them here with a request to show us some alternatives that they might have. He mentioned alternatives when he was here, but he didn't show us anything except for one, and it wasn't something we were interested in. So I would love to see some alternatives that they can provide, that would maybe provide for better camouflage or blending in.
yeah, and it may be a short window, because my understanding is they're gonna preclude local governments from regulating it. That hasn't happened yet, but they're
This
going,
would-
Preclude local governments from regulating anything.
they're going down that road.
Well, but this I think he was offering up. They-
Yeah, he was
so-
voluntarily,
Yeah.
and you know,
So it
I,
wouldn't be us forcing them to do it, it would just be us asking them to
Right.
do it and hopefully them agreeing.
and I
But
did
I don't know
try
what
to,
to ask them, because we haven't seen what the alternatives are.
I did try to get his contact information, but
Or anybody in
I
the
found him.
industry.
I sent an email to somebody, I tracked him down online, I could
Oh.
probably find that.
Okay, great. I'd just love to
yeah,
have
you
him
may have
here.
emailed me, but
Yeah.
I get so many emails, sometimes they drop through the cracks.
Recently saw some that look like pine trees.
Really?
They
I've
have
seen
kinda
one that looks like about a
camouflage,
50-foot tall
fake
cactus.
limbs and everything.
I showed you guys that graphic? That was
No.
awesome, yeah.
They do palm trees too, but they're
Yeah,
hideous.
they had the
But
top
I'm
off
thinking
of it on the
other-
crane and.
I don't- Maybe the pine tree might work. The palm trees are hideous, and the
Yeah.
cactus, I'm sure, wasn't
Oh, it was
fabulous
awesome.
either.
No, it looked great for out west.
Yeah, out west.
Yeah.
But I just wanna see what possibilities are.
Okay. Well, I know that, I guess the guy originally came to talk with you guys because Renee Bradley
Yeah.
got the application,
Yeah.
so maybe Renee.
And I touched base with Renee, but I guess it didn't
Okay.
happen, but I went to her because she was the reviewer, but I think maybe you did email me and I
Yeah,
just.
it was difficult, because finding anybody associated with a telecom company is
Yeah.
designed to be impossible.
Well, good job.
Yeah, so I found some presentation he had done and found the email address
Particularly when
somehow.
all those towers went down.
Yeah,
East
oh,
of
yeah,
it.
no,
Yeah.
yeah.
So that was just my request, and I'd love for it to be an agenda item at the meeting, hopefully next, whenever we can get someone here, a formal agenda item, so we can.
Karen, can
Take a look.
you, I guess, help remind me maybe at our next planning legal meeting to talk to Renee about getting this guy's contact information? Okay.
And one item in particular I'd love to have some feedback on, maybe from the attorney in Destin, is should our regulation be voluntary mandatory? Should it be very explicit? Should it be very general? In other words, what type
Yeah.
of regulation is going to be the most effective?
Well,
Because I hate to spend a lot of time being super specific if super specific is just gonna be thrown out the window.
Yeah, and the
Right.
reason why I brought up Destin as an example is that Ms. Kopp told me that they worked very hard to make it comply with the state's
Yeah, it's-
preemptive regulations.
Yeah, so that's
There's
where I'm
not a
going. In
lot-
other words, we need to
You can't
design
be,
it
yeah,
to fit what it needs to fit.
yes, and I think they worked hard to do that, so
Yeah.
why don't
Okay.
we create the
So that,
rule?
whatever that criteria
Yeah.
was.
And you
would be
can't
nice to
get
know.
very specific, the state's pretty much, you know.
Yeah.
But there's a little bit left, and if we maintain
Like, if we
it,
can't,
we might as
regulate
well.
height, we shouldn't put any,
Correct.
shouldn't hang our hat on that. If we can regulate, based on the adjacent properties or, landscape or whatever it is that we can regulate it.
I don't remember the
Yeah.
specifics, but.
well, I'll get in touch with Ms. Kopp and at least get you guys a copy of the ordinance and try to have a conversation with her. And I'll involve Heather in our conversations, and then that way, if she's here next time,
Right,
she can have the information for you if I'm not here.
thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Okay, so, anything else on that?
Nope.
All right, so next item is code enforcement interaction with DRB discussion.
And I just put this on here because we've had a lot of conversation and we've talked about some suggestions, like maybe once a quarter having the code manager, which we have one now.
Yeah, we do.
Yay. Come talk to us. And you know what, honestly, based on what I'm hearing, that may not be necessary long-term, but I think we're in a situation where it would be helpful, at least for a time, for us to work, to communicate with them and them to communicate with us about what's going on, because my understanding is they're trying to clean up,
Yeah, and we're,
catch up.
and we're
but-
still one code officer short too,
Yeah.
currently.
Yeah,
Mike wanted me to specifically identify that the scenic corridor is a priority, but they have the rest of the county they police as well.
no, absolutely. So I just wanted to talk about it in a formalized item that, I would love to have him, I'd love to meet him. I mean, I've met him, but for,
Well,
between us.
he has no qualms with coming quarterly. I mean, I
That'd be
brought
great.
that up. He has no issues with doing that.
That'd be wonderful, because I think we still will and may for a little while get what we've been getting, the comments about, well, here it is out here in these 4 places, why
Right.
not me? So until we kind of get out of that cycle, it'd be nice for some regular communication to be happening.
But I think it's really up to Mac, but I mean, I spoke to Mike about it. He's perfectly on board.
My question is, do we have an enforcement officer that is familiar enough with the specificity of the scenic corridor or that has specialized in that type of enforcement? Is that on the
Well,
horizon? Do we have one, or is
current.
everybody a generalist?
Currently, we do not, but previously Anna handled everything
Well,
in the
that's why I'm
scenic
asking the
corridor.
question.
And she developed some relationships because she would try to go out and talk to the people and get them to come into compliance, not just send out a notice of violation. But currently, that's not the case. Everyone is doing their own thing right now. I don't know if that's been discussed, but she was basically the code officer for the scenic corridor previously.
Mac might want to address.
Presently, due to our backlog, everybody's working all kinds of cases. I have discussed the priority for the scenic corridors with Mike. He is on board with that idea. Whether we will have one person specializing in that or not, we have not yet decided. I think we need more than one. Because everybody goes on vacation, everybody occasionally is out sick or has some reason to be off. But we need much more focus, and the message from this board is heard loud and clear, and that was part of our discussion during the interview process, and was one of the reasons we selected Mike, as we felt he would be best prepared to deliver the kinds of results that both the county commission is looking for, and certainly this board with your purview of the scenic corridor. And as Tim mentioned, we did promote Mike from within, which vacated a regular code enforcement officer seat. We have those interviews scheduled, I believe, for March 18th.
Great, it's exciting. So that, the position he vacated is the only one vacant now?
Presently, the only one
Good.
vacant. We do plan to ask the commissioners for additional code enforcement staff as we go into the next budget year for October 1. We did request 2 additional officers this past year, but they were not funded.
How many do we have total right now?
We have when we're fully staffed, we have a manager and 4 officers and 1 code enforcement clerk.
I'd be
So
happy to support you when that comes up again if needed.
appreciate that. We'll call on you.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Okay, I just
Thank you.
found the email. I didn't track his email address down. I found him on LinkedIn. His name is Tim Hawkins, with AT&T. So I was not able to find an email address.
I think Renee Bradley
Probably
has
has
his
it. Okay, yeah.
contact information.
Great. That's all I had.
Yep. All right, anybody else? Hearing nothing, I believe we, well, I guess I should have a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Yeah. Motion and a second, all in favor, I'm sorry, does anyone in the audience have? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, we stand adjourned.